right, this is Real Talk Baseball on CarloBaseball. With me, as always, is Ernie Orange, and of course, it's another Sunday, and we're here to talk about baseball. We have an exciting show. We have a few topics because it is spring training, and a lot of people are not interested in spring training, but it is baseball, and we will talk about it, of course. But how's it going over there, Ernie?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're having a great Sunday out here talking baseball. I know it's spring training season right now, but there's already a lot of news for this baseball upcoming season. And what can we say? We're ready to talk ball.
Definitely.
But let's make sure to hit that like and subscribe to Real Talk Baseball. We're close to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. You can check us out every Sunday or the Thursday Fantasy Baseball Show. And make sure to hit that follow on every platform we have. We're trying to definitely grow this channel and, get more people to join in.
Definitely. Hey, if you haven't done it, do it. Do it, please. So, all right. So our topic today is who will surprise in 2025? The Detroit Tigers, the Mets, the Orioles, the D-backs, the Guardians, the Rangers, the Padres, and of course, there's a lot of teams that could surprise, but those are kind of given. I think those teams are given because of the potential lineups that they have, the starting rotations that they have, the big trades, the big signings they had, or because of previous teams that they had, like the Rangers coming off of the 2023 World Series. And you kind of felt like they took a time off on 2024. Now they're coming back. They got Jock Peterson, and they're going to do a lot of good things. The Orioles, we've talked about the Orioles a lot. And, they did a little bit of moves here and there. Is it enough? It's not a surprise if they make it to the playoffs. But these two teams, Ernie will take one, and I will take another one. And I think Ernie's team is more logical than mine. I think when people hear mine, they're going to be like, what? No way, why? But I'll give you my reasons why I feel
okay. I'm ready to hear why. So let me give you my team. There's a team I decided to choose. It may be a surprise to many, surprise not to so many others. But I'm choosing the 2025 Seattle Mariners to win the AL West division and to take over the reign from the Houston Astros. It may come to a shock to a lot of people, but it is a team that did finish 85 and 77 losses last year. They fell one game short from the wild card positioning. It's a team that had the best pitching in baseball. It's underappreciated. It's not being talked about too much. I'm not sure if it's because it's a West Coast team, but you're talking about a rotation that's definitely the top rotation in baseball. They finished second in ERA, and you're talking about guys like Logan Gilbert, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu, George Kirby, and Luis Castillo. Can we just, when you think about that 1 through 5, it's a dangerous 1 through 5. But this Mariner team had a lot of struggles last season, and there was huge expectations for this team. They did a couple moves in the trade deadline. They still fell kind of short. Mm-hmm. They added Randy Arozarena, Victor Robles, Justin Turner last year, and it was not enough. They did finish in a pretty good stretch in the final towards the end of the season, but just fell one game short from making this playoff team. So they were right there, Carlos, a team that just fell shortly. But this year, 2025, I'm having big expectations for them. I think they're going to bounce back. You're talking about a team that does have 5 different players in the top 100 right now, and is a team that's finally going to be healthy. Last year, I feel like they brought in Victor Robles from the Nationals after he was cut. He was kind of banged up all season, but he did bring that spark the team really needed. He owns the league in the lowest strikeout rate compared to all MLB players, current active MLB players last season. So that's a huge stat because if you guys know, Mariners were terrible in offense last year. They ranked 29th in the batting average, was definitely one of the worst offensive teams we had ever seen. They struck out left and right, and it was like, what is going on, right? Can these guys even hit? But this year, with this projected starting rotation and you adding Victor Robles in the top of the lineup, I think he's going to bring that spark, that speed they need to start the game. Julio Rodriguez in the middle of the lineup. And then don't forget, we have Randy Arozarena, a guy that was sparked with the Rays back then. Last year he had a really down year, but I think he's ready to bring him his A game again. So what do you think, Carlos? You like my pick, the Mariners? I think they're their answer for the AOS this year. How about you?
Dude, I actually like this pick because they're not even mentioned to try to win anything in the West. And they're picking the Astros to win the West again. And that pitching you just mentioned is one of the top in the major leagues. Now, it doesn't compare to their hitting. Their hitting doesn't relate to like anything that the pitching is doing. The pitching is number one. And then you go to the hitting and you have Julio Rodriguez in that batting order. And Julio Rodriguez has been the top player for the past 3 years, and he has not shown up in that stadium. And I've told you before, I've said, that stadium is not a hitter's park. Everyone that goes there, their average dips a little bit or a lot if you think about it. Adrian Beltre, Cano, they got lost in that mix. Alex Rodriguez didn't get to play in that stadium because he was in the dome. He left before that. So that's a thing where I feel like the Mariners need to step up their game. If Julio Rodriguez plays the way that we all know he can play, then the Mariners are definitely a contending team in the West. But you're saying they're going to win the West, or going to win the wild card?
I see them winning the West, man. You're talking about a national team that gave up 2 stars to free. They traded Kyle Tucker, and they let go of Alex Bregman in free agency. Yes, they brought in Christian Walker, but he's a question mark. He's never available.
Yeah,
he's always hurt. So, and then you have a young starting rotation now. You have Spencer Arguetti, Hunter Brown. There are guys that are kind of banged up. And when you compare it to this rotation, it's the best in baseball, and it's never talked about. I'm not sure if it's because of West Coast team, but you're totally right. Maybe it is that park. That T-Mobile Park has hurt a lot of players. Randy Arozarena came in the trade deadline last year and only hit 5 home runs in 64 games. That's pretty low, man. Yeah. Victor Robles only hit 4. Justin Turner went in there, didn't really do much either. So I'm not sure if it's because it's a cold city, windy, the ball doesn't really travel like the way it's supposed to. So there's a lot of question marks with this team. I know Jerry DiPoto's trying his best to take this team to its highest potential, but they definitely need to perform this year because this is a great starting rotation. There's been talks about them trading these starting pitchers to the Red Sox or other teams. Other teams are desperate for pitching, and they will do anything in their power to get those top 5 pitchers right now.
Yeah. Bobby Ray, what was it? Not Bobby Ray, sorry. Robbie Ray got traded from the Mariners to the Giants, and he was going to be one of the top pitchers there. So even with that trade that they went off and did, they still got Luis Castillo, and I feel like Luis Castillo needs to be healthy enough for them to make that push. And if they make that push, they need to go out and get a hitter. You still have DJ, what is it? Martinez out there that he's looking for a team right now. And that's a perfect veteran that will fit in that Mariners team. Now, they should have gone after a lot of hitting. I thought they were going to go after the guy from the Padres. Man, I can't even, I blanked out. The shortstop. No, the shortstop. Sung Kim. I think it would have been a great fit for the Mariners, and it just didn't happen. So it sucks when you're talking about little parts of what they need, and they didn't go get. And if you're a fan of the Mariners, you feel like, damn, they have their pitching. How are we going to get runs? We cannot lose 1-0 or 2-0 and not help our pitchers out, because pitchers do get frustrated and they say, look, man, I only gave up 1 run in 8 innings, and in my bullpen didn't give up anything. Or I pitched 7 innings and I gave up no runs, but I still came out with no decision. So pitchers do get frustrated because they have to make those wins so they can get that bonus at the end of the year. And of course, if they make it to the playoffs, they get that bigger bonus. But this is what the Mariners need to go ahead and do. Need to go get hitting. I just feel like they didn't do enough this offseason. Do I see them contending? Definitely I do, because of the pitching rotation. But do I see them winning the division? I don't think they will. I probably see them in the wild card more than the division because of the Astros. And the Astros are always going to be the Astros no matter what we say. But this is a really good pick. I like it. I really like
man.
It.
I just feel like it's going to be a bounce back season for Julio Rodriguez and Randy Arozarena. And if you add those 2 guys in the middle of that lineup, that's dangerous. And then you add Cal Raleigh, a guy that hit 36 home runs last year, Carlos. He did bat 221 last year. A pretty poor batting average, but he has some pop in him. And I just feel like Randy Arozarena is going to find his groove again and deliver for the Seattle Mariners. He had a tough time getting traded from the Rays last year. In the trade deadline, he never expected to get traded. He was there in the middle of the Rays game, just watching his old teammates play, bummed out that he was leaving. I just think it took him some time to fit into the Seattle lifestyle, and I think he will bounce back this season. J.P. Crawford was banged up. He hurt his pinky. A lot of injuries, and that's baseball for you. It's 162 games, but I feel like this Mariners team has what it takes to win this division this year.
It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and that's what a lot of baseball fans think and feel. I put a video on TikTok about people saying that baseball is boring, and why do you guys watch baseball? And of course, Cam Newton came out and said, that the WNBA will take over in 20 years, be ahead of baseball. And I'm like looking at that like, you just don't know the game. I think he just doesn't know the game and he just wanted to talk crap about it. And he wanted views. And of course, he got our attention and he got all the baseball people attention. And I mean, that's just what it is. And that's how they get clout. And there's a lot of people doing that right now. So let's move on, man. Is that is that all you have to say about the Mariners, or you got more?
I think so. I hope I convince you guys, whoever's watching, that the Mariners team will win the division.
All right, man. The next team that I'm gonna go ahead and talk about, and this team is not known or is not going to be in a really easy division, and this is what makes it hard. When I look at a team and I look at the division, I look at what are they going to be able to compete with, and what are they what they're be able to put out. So looking at the Giants, and the Giants is the team I'm picking because a lot of people are kind of falling asleep on them. If you guys don't remember that Posey came and become the general manager, he went and got Willie Adames. He did a lot of things where he felt like he didn't need to go out and get players out there. You had Chapman on that team already, and you had Lamont on that team. You had players that already are developed and can potentially become more than what they show. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the hitting. Last year we did not see Young Hoo Lee play his full potential. And remember, he's the son of the wind, or the or what is it? He's the son of the wind, right? That's what it's called. Yeah. Yeah. Then they went and get Willie Adames, which he bats pretty good second, and then Lamont Jr. He's gonna get you hits here and there, and it's gonna be competitive. Matt Chapman, I know he's not a big top home run hitter, but he does hit the ball, and he hit 24 home runs last year, and he did really good. Heliot Ramos, he did pretty good last year. Is he going to do what he did last year? I'm pretty sure he will. Mike Juszczyk, he's one of those players that you kind of don't want to fall asleep on. And then Tyler Fitzgerald, of course, we all know what he did. Is he going to have a second year of his major league career this year? So this is one of the hitters that you got to look out for, because for this to happen, for the Giants to make the playoffs, all these players needs to play up to their potential, and that's where I'm feeling that they're going to do. What? Wilmer Flores, DH, and then Patrick Bailey. We all know he's a defensive player, but Buster Posey's the GM. You don't think he's going to go down there and tell him Buster Posey wasn't a good hitter when he first came up? He was there for his defense, and look, he hit 300. He hit a lot of bombs for the Giants, and look, man, he got 3 World Series with the Giants. So that's why I feel like maybe him managing the pitching staff will help a lot. And looking at the pitching staff, you have Logan Webb. His ERA is 3.43. You're looking at this guy on top of that rotation. He is a team leader. He is going to go out there and compete every single time. Has he pitched against the Dodgers? Has he pitched against the D-backs? Has he pitched against the Padres? Yes, he has. And he's done really good against them. Why? Because he's competitive. He's going to give you 7 innings, 6 innings if he his pitch count's a little higher, but he is going to compete. Robbie Ray, he needs to stay healthy. Why? Because this man was a Cy Young Award winner. He can compete. If he stays healthy for the Giants, the 1-2 punch for these Giants are going to be lethal. Then you look at Justin Verlander. I know his ERA is inflated. I know he's 41 years old. I know that once you get to be an old guy, you don't have it anymore. But guess what? He's a veteran. He's going to teach these young kids how to throw the ball, where to throw the ball, and how to throw the ball, and how to control the game. Some of these pitchers forget how to control the game, and this is why they went and got Justin Verlander. Everything this team is doing, they're doing strategically, and that's why I'm picking the Giants. Jordan Hicks, remember last year was his first year that he's became a starter. He's at 4.10, but remember, it's his first time being a full pitcher, starting pitcher, and not only that, this is going to be his second year being a starting rotation pitcher. So I think he's going to do a lot better. And then Kyle Henderson, he's going to do good. 4.56, don't let that number fool you. I think he's going to do a lot better than a lot of people think. It's just, I feel like maybe we're falling asleep on a team that has a lot of superstars, and we don't know that because they're in the West. And I'm not saying they're going to win the West. And I'm not saying that they're going to beat all the teams all over the place, but they are going to play around 500 ball, and I don't see no other team being in that 500 ball. If the Mets get pitching, then I will be scared of that wild card battle there, and I think the Giants can compete with the Mets. I think the the Giants can compete with the Braves. And I'm picking the Phillies, I guess, in the East to win the division, but I think they can compete with that, and they can compete with anybody in the Central, and that's why I'm trying to convince you guys that don't fall asleep with these Giants because they got
Carlos,
a lot.
I'm taking your Dodger card away. I'm sorry. You're going against your rival Giants. I know they have not made any noise in the past decade besides 1 year, but this Giant team is developing in the right way. I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
I see the pitching being extraordinary this year with Justin Verlander in the mix. I think he still has some pop in his arm. He was just working on a curveball today, and he still shows like he has something on him.
something
Robbie
right.
Ray's definitely to be it's going to be his first healthy season in a while, so I think he's ready to bounce back and show what he has. He's Cy Young too. You're totally right. Logan Webb, this guy's incredible. People doubt him every time. He's proven time and time again that guy could go deep into games, and it's been the true ace for the Giants for a long time. Now, my only concern for this Giants team, and I could agree everything you said, but I think offensively, where is the home runs going to come from that lineup? That's my biggest concern with this team. I'm not sure who's going to be that guy that's going to take the next step and hit over 30 home runs. And the Giants have not had that batter in a very long time, since probably Barry Bonds has been the last hitter to hit 30 home runs. So that's a huge concern for me. I look at this lineup right now and I don't see who has it. And this is where I feel like this Giant team's going to surprise a lot of people on their pitching side, but they're going to fail offensively. And they're going to look a lot similar to the last year's Mariners team.
Yeah, and you know what? That's one of the things that I look at when I'm looking at teams that don't produce a lot of home runs. And this is a team definitely that doesn't produce home runs, but they
rely on
do
the small ball.
Exactly, but they did win and get a shortstop that could be a potential Gold Glove. You have a third baseman that's a platinum fielder. This man can grab anything out there. Now, I took some numbers down, ground ball numbers. Robbie Ray produces 39.2% ground balls. Logan Webb 58%. So you have your left side covered, and producing 58% ground ball rate. That's great, because now you're talking about players on your left side, and the important side, because you have more right-handed hitters than you do left-handed hitters in the major leagues. And you have, like I said, the platinum Gold Glove winner, and you have a potential Gold Glove winner in shortstop. So then I forgot to mention Justin Verlander is 37.6. He can work a little bit better with his ground ball rate, but his fly ball rate is a lot higher, and that stadium is known to not be a hitter's park. So that's going to help him a lot. Now you're talking about Jordan Hicks, 57.2 ground ball rate. That's crazy, dude. So this is where it gets pretty crazy too. Like, I think that the percentage, that's the group, 45.98% compared to the top team that everybody's talking about, the Dodgers, which is 45.08. They're better than them in ground ball rate. And where we're talking about ground ball rate and making outs, you have Gold Glove potential there to make those outs all the time. So what do we talk about? Defense all the time. We say defense is going to make you win games. That's the difference. And this is where Buster Posey outsmarted a lot of people when he got William Adames and he had Chapman there. So you go get someone that can be a Gold Glove in left field. You got an all-star team there. So that's why I feel like they can go ahead and compete, dude.
I got a question for you, Carlos. Last year they finished the season 80 wins, 82 losses. How many wins do you see this Giants team winning this year?
82 wins, 80 losses. They're going to flip that around, and they could potentially win the wild card. Yeah, they're not going to be a lot greater than that. They could probably surprise a little bit more, 85, and maybe win the 85 wins. But I just feel like there's not going to be a lot more competition because of how stacked all these teams are right now. So yeah, they might be in the fourth place or third place, but you're competing against the Dodgers. You're competing against the D-backs. You're competing against the Padres. Yeah. And that's just going to get you ready to compete against the other lower levels teams. And I'm not trying to put hate on them. It's just, I feel like because the competition's so high, you need to go into other places and beat those teams up. When you come to those other three elite teams in the West, which 4 teams, I think there's going to be 4 teams battling to go to the to the playoffs with the Giants. I think that's going to make them a little bit better. And I'm just calling it right here. I think the NL West is the strongest in MLB right now. So, I mean, I'm not counting the Rockies.
Right. So you said 82 and 80.
Yeah.
What do they finish 4th place in the division?
Everything has to go right for them. And when I say everything has to go right for them, that means that they have to play up to what they're expected to. They're expected to play 82, 80, 80, 80, 82 and 80 losses. Now,
Okay.
if the D-backs have injuries, they have to stay healthy too. Like we've been talking about the D-backs, and they have to stay healthy too. The Padres are another team that has to stay healthy too. The Dodgers are another team that has to stay healthy. But when you have those teams that have a lot of pressure to win the division, to win the wild card, they have more on the plate than the Giants do. The Giants don't have anything to lose. So they still have rookies. They still have their farm system that they're going to be able to bring up and try to get ready for the 2026 season, because I feel like they're going to make a big signing at that point. They'll probably go get a first baseman by the name of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and that can happen. So for them to reach that point, they kind of have to have that 500 ball, and they need to play that 500 ball to have this guy or any potential big signing to come to San Francisco. And yeah. I'm seeing that right now. That's what I'm speaking about.
Right. So, they're definitely heading to the right direction. They're developing these young players. Like Tyler Fitzgerald looks amazing last year. He went in a stretch to start the season with hitting like 7 home runs in 11 games. I probably have that butchered that up, but he did something I had never seen. And you have Helio Ramos, Jung-Hoo Lee, the potential's there. And they have the money to spend. So if you attract a free agent next season, this is a dangerous team going forward 2026. So you're totally right. This Giant team could surprise us. It's not being talked about because there's obviously powerhouses in the NL West right now that is overshadowing the Giants, but they have the potential. And like you said, they stay healthy, and the addition of Willy Adames has every potential to take this team deep.
Definitely. So do you see him making the wild card? And be honest, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just, throwing that out there right
now. Man, I totally feel the only way they make the wild card is either the Padres or the Diamondbacks fall out from injuries. Like these teams have to either like be banged up. That's the reason why they tanked this season, and the Giants could easily sneak in and take their spot.
Yeah. If you take my Dodger card away, I mean, I know why I'm talking about the Giants. I shouldn't be talking about the Giants, but there's so many people that just like they talk bad about the D-backs, just like they talk bad about the Padres. Hey, don't forget about the Giants. Those are the Dodger rivalries, and they're gonna play you hard every time they go out there. You can be tired coming from New York, and the Giants are going to show up, and they're going to show up big time because they are your rival. And the Giants are not going to let up against the Padres or the D-backs either, or the Rockies in any case. I know they haven't made any moves or anything, but the Rockies can hit out there in Colorado, and that can be a slugfest. So it's going to be amazing, man. It's going to be crazy. If it does happen at the end of the year, we'll remember this episode like, damn, dude, you kind of called it. So, and if the Mariners too, dude, I see that too. I do definitely see the Mariners. I could see a potential trade for them. They're going to be that close to winning the division, and they will probably pull the trigger to do it because they need to. They need to.
Yeah.
And the Giants do too, because I feel like that's going to create baseball to be more fun when you have the old time rivals playing against each other. So only time will tell. We're only in spring training. I'm getting too excited already talking about this. So it's pretty cool. And I mean, that's it. That's all I got for the Giants. Let's move on.
Wow. Yeah, that's totally shocker for me today. I did not expect this. I didn't know what team you had chose, and I was kind of, you saying the Giants just threw me off. And honestly, I'm shocked, Carlos. I'm gonna call all your Dodger fans and I'll tell your friends to come get your card away from me.
I'm pretty sure they are. Look, it's because if we've gone with the Detroit Tigers, the Mets, the Orioles, the D-backs, Guardians, or Texas Rangers, like I feel like those are already kind of common. Those are teams that we already know that they can make it to that wild card or potentially win the division.
And you know what? You saying these teams already been surprised us? They may potentially surprise us of how bad they'll be this year. How about that?
Yeah, and we're not taking that to an account like we should, because maybe last year it was just a fluke, and this year it's not going to be that easy for them to make it. We talked about the Mets, that I gave them an A for trading and getting Juan Soto, and look at the injuries that are happening to them. So
they're piling up.
They're piling up. And then we're looking at the Orioles. Like I said, it's one of those things where, what are they going to do this year? Are they going to show up? Are they going to choke again? And it's just becoming a routine thing for them. The Rangers, they took a year off, I think, last year.
Yeah,
now they're going to come, right? So they should be able to come back and do great things. They got Jacob deGrom coming back. They have Corey Seager coming back, and then they have Jock Peterson that they just signed, and he was a hit machine with the D-backs last year. So that's going to be a great team.
The Tigers, I feel like they were too young last year. They shouldn't have been there, and they they beat the Astros, right? But they were going with some hot momentum that was unstoppable at the moment. I just don't see the Tigers doing the same this year. I think, not signing Alex Bregman, it was a huge loss for them, even though they offered more money. They missed out on that free agent. And then they also just lost Parker Meadows to start the season. He's going straight to the IL to start the season. That's some concern already, man. Injuries starting this early is not good, especially when you're young.
Especially when you're young, and that's not looking good because you have Kansas City there, that you have Bobby Witt Jr. that can play and can rake and can make some plays for you at shortstop. So maybe the Kansas City could win that division, or the Guardians. Like I know they traded away a few pieces, but I think they could still be in it. You have Jose Ramirez that's still there, that's still raking, and he always wants to make it to the playoffs, and he can potentially do it. So yeah. Those
what
are
about
our picks.
These Guardians? They let us down. It's a team that definitely went deep last year, went to the ALCS. You go ahead and trade Josh Naylor. One of our listeners, Vicentovich, if you're listening, shout out to you for being a Guardians fan, man. But it was a disappointing trade. He was pretty upset. They went ahead and traded their first baseman for a pitcher, Slay Sassoni, who still has a lot to prove. I didn't understand the trade. Just saying. I hope this Guardian team could bounce back. They definitely were a huge surprise last year.
They were.
And nobody thought they would even be this far into the season last year in 2024, but I don't see them going deep this year either. And now we head to a Diamondbacks team that was offensively one of the greatest offensive numbers last year, but also fell short to the last game of the season and did not make the playoffs. So I'm not sure how to expect of this D-back team. I'm not sure what's going to happen. That division is so tough, man. I don't know.
It is. And they went and signed Corbin Burns. That just kind of helped their pitching staff. They got better, and there's a lot of people falling asleep on the D-backs. They shouldn't. They're picking the Padres over the D-backs, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know. They're number one in hitting for a reason. They didn't make it last year because a few injuries in their pitching staff, and their bullpen kind of suffered a little bit. Yes. Which I didn't bring the bullpen of the Giants, which is one of the top bullpens out there. I'll go ahead and talk about these numbers right quick. Camilo Duvall, he didn't do so good. His WAR was a negative 0.5, which is not a good thing for the Giants. But if he goes back to the 2023 form, which we all know he really threw good, he got 39 saves. Last year, he only got 24 out of 28 saves. You had that 88% or 82% effectiveness of getting that save. When you're looking at a closer, you need to have Class A type of stuff, and that's a Guardian right there, right? You're looking at 94% of getting those saves, 47 saves. That's a lot. That's a lot. So your ERA is 0.61. Now you're a top elite closer in the bullpen that can surprise a lot of people in the Guardians. Now with the Giants do have another guy in the potential role of becoming a closer in Ryan Walker. He's one of the top pitchers for the Giants that will come in, be a stopper, be a closer if Duvall is not ready to be the top leader in that bullpen. Of course, we know about Eric Miller and Tyler Roger. Tyler Roger, he has a twin, so
yes, tall.
Both of them are tall. Both of them throw sidearm, right?
They do.
So their bullpen is good. It's going to depend a lot on them. It's going to depend on the starting pitching, and it all has to go right for them. All has to go right. Definitely has to go right.
Yeah. So see all these teams listed here above, they all have to do something special this year, and they all have a little flaw, and it depends who fixes it to go deep into this 2025 season, because it's going to be a pretty tough battle out there. I think it's going to be one of the most competitive MLB seasons we've had in a while.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I think it's going to be exciting. You know why? I just feel like a lot of teams are going to be going all the way to July and not making a trade until the last day, and we're going to see some big surprises in that trade like we haven't had in a while. So
definitely, man, because everybody's in the mix, so it's kind of tough to make these trades, right?
Yeah.
We got Neto here. Thank you for tuning in. He says, love me some spring training. I wanted to ask you this question. Are you watching any spring training games, Carlos? You do have a baseball podcast.
I do watch some spring training. I'm not gonna lie and sit here and say I watched the whole thing because I don't know a lot of those players. I'll probably see
Yeah.
your first, second, maybe third inning.
Okay.
I'll start watching the spring training games a little bit more once it comes a little bit closer to the season, because there you start seeing your pitchers being released, they're throwing full strength. A lot of these pitchers right now are just throwing fastballs, trying to get their arm ready for them to start throwing junk, or they're making up their pitches, or they're practicing their pitches, and they're not being super serious about what they're doing. They're working on throwing in the outside corner, sometimes working on that cutter, sometimes throwing a curveball. Might not be easy for so many of these pitchers, so they start doing that at an early stage. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not really into it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're getting roped. Oh, these pitchers suck. Good thing we didn't sign them. Like, come on, you got to be real. These guys are throwing out there to work on their mechanics, throwing fastballs so they can get their arm ready for the long season. And like I said, when you said that it's 162 games, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and you have to get ready for that. So
You're totally right. It's tough
yeah,
to tune into spring training games. Like you said, I only really tune in when the big MLB players do play. Once you hit the 8th or 9th inning, man, you don't know half of these players on this lineup. Either you know the prospects, but if you're a guy that just watches here and there, you're not going to know who's playing.
nah.
But I did tune in this Friday. It was nice to see Shohei hit a home run in his first at bat against Jusei Kikuchi. It was beautiful, man. Like, this guy was just back to form, just like that. And, there were some great games. You're talking about Paul Skeens working on a new cutter, Justin Verlander working on a new curveball, and you're like you said, spring training is time to work on their form. You got guys saying that Roki Sasaki is already a bust just because he watched one highlight. We got to talk about that, man, because the Dodgers did not pay much for this kid. He was cheap. He was almost given for free if you think about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It's too soon to call. If you guys want to go back into time when Shohei Ohtani arrived to the Angels, people said that he would start the season in the minor leagues.
Yeah. And
And
I
people
was there
doubted
for
his
his
talent.
start. Yeah, I was there for his first start, and he did really great. He pitched a no-hitter into the 6th inning before they took him out in the 7th. I think he pitched 6 1/3 because they took him out after that, and then they gave up the hit. But he pitched a no-hitter pretty much in those 6 1/3 innings, and he did really great. And when he came out to pitch, saw how tall he was. You can see him from way up there. It was crazy, dude. And yeah, I went to an Angel game. I went to the Angel game to see Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, man.
His first appearance in Anaheim, to see that. When you're a baseball fan, it doesn't matter where you go, as long as you're seeing baseball and you're seeing talented people show up to play the game. You go and respect it, and you say, man, this is a talented guy, and he's going to be
crazy.
special. Yeah.
It's crazy to think that I went to see Shohei Ohtani in his first couple of years. He was using a Game of Thrones theme song as his walk-up song, and that's how I remember him. One of the special moments I ever saw from Shohei, I got to see him up and close. I got to get some front row seats to Angel Stadium, watch him pitch against the Blue Jays. I get mad at myself for not having more footage, but all my local friends they found pictures of me and watching me from the TV, so that was pretty cool, man. It was definitely one of the coolest experiences. And then he got to watch him during 2021 when he hit a bomb off Dylan Cease. That was beautiful too, man. But we got Neto here saying opening day is less than a month away. Yes, it is. And it's actually going to start in a couple of weeks, guys. If you guys are familiar, the Dodgers and Cubs will be going to Japan to start the season for a 2-game special series. If you're in the West Coast out here, the game will be starting at 3 a.m. So get ready, Carlos. Put that alarm.
I don't think I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'll watch the last.
I'm gonna wake you up. I'm gonna call you.
I don't think the call will go through, but if it does, I'll wake up. I already
know the trick how to get to your phone call, man. You just gotta call twice.
You gotta call twice, yeah. And it'll go through. Definitely will go through. All right, man.
The trick.
Yeah. Let's talk about Angels, man. I know you're an Angels fan, and it's not. We won't do any justice if we don't talk about your team. I think we give opportunity, and we should give opportunity to talk about our own teams, because we definitely need to. It wouldn't be fair to just talk about other teams. Like I said, I talked about the Giants. Hopefully they don't come knocking to come and get my Dodger card, but we need to talk about our teams. And how do you feel about the teams? What are your expectations with the Angels?
Oh man, I don't see them doing nothing special this year. I think it's a year of developing our players a little bit more. We have a lot of young talent out there, like Zach Neto, Nolan Schunnell, Joe Adele. They all have potential, man. They're all young. They're all under 25, 26 years old. We got this young prospect, Christian Moore, that got drafted last year, 8th number pick. And he already showed he's maybe even be starting this season now, given that Rendon may not play. So I'm not expecting nothing major this year. I do not see them making the playoffs. I do see them competing a little bit more than last year, though, because their bullpen is actually pretty nice. They went ahead and got Kenley Jansen to close our games. Kenley Jansen is going for his 500 career save this season. And now we have Ben Joyce as our settlement, who is going to be our future closer, who is pitching 105 miles an hour, Carlos. That guy has some nasty fastball. It's untouchable when he hits the middle of the pocket of the catcher, man. It's amazing to see. So I feel like the Angels have potential. We have this young starter coming in, Caden Dana. Looks exactly like Jerry Weaver. He wears the same number as Jerry Weaver. You think you just go back into time and see those glorious Angel days when they were actually in the playoffs. But this Angel team is going in the right direction. But unfortunately, our ownership is not doing the right thing. He stays complaining. He already said that he's going to be down $50 to $60 million this year because the revenue is getting higher and he's not getting that much money on those TV deals. So it's unfortunate. What the hell? Neto's over here talking Asian, some type of Asian language. Let us know what language that is. There is definitely a lot of Asian population watching baseball these days. I mean, talking about Young Hoo Lee, he mentioned Ohtani, Shota Imanaga. The game continues to grow worldwide. And it is great to see the Angels actually signing an Asian player, Jusei Kikuchi. He had a great last season with the Astros, got traded at the end of the season. He showed that he had potential. But yeah, man, going back to my Angels, I do see them only winning like 75 games this year. I don't see nothing more. Their last year was 63.99, but it can't get worse than it was last year, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a season where they're gonna have to rely on Mike Trout again. And Mike Trout's coming strong. They are moving him from center field. He should be able to save his legs. They're probably going to potentially save him a little bit longer because they're going to put him in the DH. And that's a good thing. As you get older, you should rest your legs a little bit more. But with that said, is that you have contracts that you guys need to start paying off too. And if you're already down 50 mil, like that's a bummer. Maybe he should just sell the team, dude. He should just sell the team. Because he is in Southern California. He should be able to build his market up. He should be able to sell his tickets. He should be able to have a nice product out there for fans to enjoy. And it's a nice ballpark. When you took me to Angel Stadium and sat in those nice ass seats, I'm like, man, this is dope right here. Come to watch seats, dude.
We had a pretty nice sponsor that gave us some pretty good seats, right, Carlos?
Yeah, hell yeah.
But you're definitely right. Mike Trout, we're expecting huge expectations for him. I think he's going to guide the young players to the right direction with our manager, Ron Washington, as well. But I just don't think we have enough pitching, man. That starting rotation is definitely weak. We didn't do much noise. I think we're depending on Tyler Anderson and, these veterans to go take us deeper, but there's a lot of question marks. And I think we're going to sell a lot in the trade deadline. And we have a lot of talent to give up for these guys to get more prospects and to develop even younger players. It's time to start from scratch. As an Angel fan, it just hit me the other day. Like, it's been over 10 years since I see my team in the playoffs. This is sad.
Damn, that's a long time. It's time.
It's a decade already, man. I'm starting to get old and my hair's just turning gray and I have not seen my Angels make the playoffs. This is crap.
Before we move to the next topic, I'm going to go ahead and read this message. Neto saying, ¿Qué piensan de los que dicen que el Soto es mejor que Ohtani? I'll say it in English. What do you guys think about what they say about Soto being a better player than Ohtani? So, I don't think that's true. I won't sit down and say, oh, Soto's going to hit. Let me change the channel. If you do that for Ohtani, then we already got our answer. Right? Okay. I mean, I don't see anybody changing the channel to see Soto. I really don't. I see it for Ohtani. You will?
Yeah, because especially now with the New York Mets, I have to see what he does. He's getting paid top dollar. He is getting paid more money than Ohtani. I need to see if he's really worth it.
Okay. Well, if you put it that way, yeah, it makes sense. I think a lot of baseball players will do that. If you're not a baseball fan, I mean, I think would you change it to Soto? Only people that don't watch baseball can answer that. I don't know, but I'll probably be like looking at the highlights, what he did today, or go to the recap game and see if he did anything. And yeah, definitely we'll see if is he gonna be a 50-50 guy. Do you see him being a 50-50 guy?
Not at all. I just see him hitting like 35 home runs, over 100 RBIs, and hitting over 300. Soto's still an amazing player, though. People may talk crap about his defense, but offensively, that guy knows how to read that strike zone better than anybody in the game. Just this weekend, he used the ABS challenge system, and right away he knew it was a ball, and he was looking at the umpire like, "Yeah, I knew the strike zone better than the umpire." That was crazy to see. Uh, he, he's like, "I can do your job," basically. But Soto, man, it's amazing what he does in the plate, and he's a special talent. It's hard to say that he's worth 765 million, actually.
That's a lot of money. And the 15-year span, I think it makes sense because it's 15 years. But is he going to be good all those 15 years? And the time is ticking. And not only him, there's other players that are on there that wants to win the World Series, and they want to win it for New York, for the New York Mets fans. And we will see. We will see what happens. I did see a lot of questions here. I do know that we do have news too that Albert Pujols is going to be the coach for the Dominican Republic. He's going to be a first-time coach going there, but not the first time coaching. He did coach in the Serie de Caribe, and he won it. Now he's going to be the manager for the Dominica Republicana. What is it? I can't do the world. WBC. There you go. I'm excited for that one, to be honest. So
yeah, this time next year we'll be talking about the World Baseball Classic with more baseball teams in the mix, and it's definitely going to be one of the more competitive ones we've seen. Dominican Republic's ready to compete and take reign again. And Team USA is always in the mix, but they always fall short, man. They always let us down somehow. Yeah. Last time it was the best matchup we could have ever seen. Ohtani striking out Trout to end the game and win the championship. That is wild. That was a moment that will be remembered in my mind forever. And I think for every baseball fan will remember that play. That at bat, I mean.
Definitely, dude. Definitely.
But there's a lot of hot takes this season, guys. And what is one take, like, Neto in the chat is just throwing all these crazy takes out there. What do you see? What is something you see happening this year, like, that nobody thinks is going to happen? Like, do you see Ohtani hitting 50 home runs, winning 20 games as a pitcher? Like, what's something crazy stat that you see happening this season?
A crazy stat that I see happening this season. I think the bases are a little bit. It's easier to steal a base because of bigger bases. Okay. I think if he wasn't pitching, he will probably go after the 60-60. He had potential to do it, but since he's pitching, the body takes a toll, man. And he's 30 years old. I don't see him doing another record that's gonna involve pitching and hitting. Maybe for pitching, he's gonna go probably with the scoreless innings. That could potential happening. I can see that happening because you have all these old-time great Dodgers there telling them, like, hey, this is how you throw. Just that's why Sasaki went there, right? And that's why he decided to pick the Dodgers over any other team because of the history of pitching and how he's going to become a better pitcher. And all these advice that these players are going to give the Ohtani, Sasaki, Yamamoto, I think that they're going to create something big. So I think he's going to do something big pitching. I think I'm going to see maybe a no-hitter, maybe a perfect game from him.
Okay.
And that'll be exciting if it happens.
I got a crazy take for you that's going to happen this season.
Okay.
I'm not going to say who, but I just feel one pitcher is going to throw 2 no-hitters this season.
Damn. That's crazy. That's a good one. That's a good one. But you don't know who. You don't know who it is.
Let me start thinking of a pitcher right now. But give me George Kirby to throw. No, that's tough to see. But you see, I totally see a pitcher throwing no-hitter twice. It's so possible. You're talking about these guys get on their groove and they become unhittable. You're talking about Poskin has probably the best chance to do that. If the Pirates were not watching his inning limit, this guy could throw 2 no-hitters.
Definitely. I know that last year he had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning and he took him out. They didn't allow him to go and get that no-hitter. So if he had it in his rookie year and he has it in his repertoire, definitely Paul Skeens can be that guy for you.
Tarek Skubal, another one.
Skubal can do. He's a Cy Young Award winner. He can definitely do it. You have potential in these pitchers. Why? Because remember there's a 22% rate of hitters striking out. Why? Because they have a longer swing, and that longer swing is allowing these pitchers to throw that fastball a lot more. That's where we're seeing these 105 mile per hour fastballs, and we're seeing the game evolutionize in front of our eyes. Remember back then it was only 95 was one of the toughest pitches to hit. Now it's 105. Damn.
So I just searched this up. Max Scherzer is the last pitcher to throw 2 no-hitters in a season back in 2015.
Oh, recent. Not too bad. I thought you were going to say like maybe late.
Like Nolan Ryan, 1973. So
yeah, that's a long time ago.
Now, it's 10 years ago. It could happen.
It can happen. Damn, that's crazy. All right, let's move on, man. Let's talk about Cortes.
What'd he say?
So Cortes came out saying they can talk whatever they want to talk, but we win game 1, which we should have had, which they didn't have. We all know what happened game 1. You gave up a home run to Freeman that was limping, so that's what happened. We lost game 2 and 3. We won game 4, and we should have won game 5. And we all know what happened in game 5. They did not hustle. They did not move to where they needed to move when they needed to. They didn't catch the balls when they didn't need to catch the balls. So they go back to LA up 3-2, according to Cortes. So people can say it slipped away from us. People can say we made a lot of mistakes, which I can't read it. Which did.
Oh, sorry, man.
That's all right. I can't see it. But at the end of the day, we were the better team.
Were they, though?
Oh, man. Dude, they were not the better team. Like, come on. Making errors, dropping the ball, giving a fastball down the pipe for you to serve it up and then hit the Freeman hits the game winner grand slam. No, they're not the greater team.
But he's not wrong, though. I mean, the Yankees they were this close to winning game 1. They brought in Nasty Nestor. He's the one that laid the meatball down the middle and Freddie hit it out the park. But, it's also not, I mean, if you bring Nestor Cortes to start the game, it would have been a different result, right?
Yeah.
Nestor's not a bullpen guy. Yeah. He's a starter. And he was put in a tough situation against Freddie Freeman, a guy that was banged up. He came and clutched at the biggest moment. And, it was unfortunate. Game 1, right? Say they lose 2 and 3. Game 4, they should have won. And then, like I said, game 5 was just a blooper, man. They had it in the bag.
Yeah.
This would have changed the whole scenario. It would have been going to game 6 and making it tougher for the Dodgers to compete. And it would have changed the whole momentum of the whole series. So I see what Nestor's trying to say. I'm gonna be on his side, Carlos. I think he's right. They were not the better team. They were just as good, though.
They were not the better team, but at the time they were. I'll say that because the Dodgers only had 3 starters. Remember that. They pitched their bullpen out there, and not only that, they pitched their bullpen out there. You had guys limping. You had Ohtani with his shoulder problem and still playing. So in that regard, he's right. You had all these players injured. You did not have your starting rotation, and you still didn't win the World Series. So no, I'm against it. He did not come out and say that at a right time. Why? Because he got traded to the Milwaukee Brewers.
So, this did not make sense to me. The Yankees got rid of him right after this. They didn't even want him. And he makes this comment that they were the better team. I would have just stayed quiet and, not said anything. But I'm shocked that Cortes said something. He's going to be happy with Milwaukee now, I guess, and think about his old times. But it's funny, man.
I think what you just said, I think they were the better team when it comes to all these injuries and everything that's happening.
I mean, they had the best duel. I mean, you talk about Judge and Soto. We're going to look back one day and be like, man, I can't believe that team didn't win a World Series.
Yeah. And then knowing what happened to the Dodgers, how they were deteriorating as the season was going on, like in front of our eyes. Yeah, on paper the Dodgers looked great, but they were injured. They only had 3 starters, and those 3 starters weren't producing right. Remember, Walker Buehler wasn't throwing all that great until he snapped it right in San Diego. And then from there, it was just lights out for Walker Buehler. And then, you had a bullpen game almost every day for the Dodgers. So, so he's not wrong with him saying
the Dodgers. were all bullpen games, and they still managed to win. That was unheard of, something we never seen in baseball before. But I mean, Cortes is right; they did have the better starting rotation. Judge and Soto, if you think about it, we're two great players, but they lost that momentum after they lost Game 1, and Cortes was one of the main reasons why they lost. And in Game 5, those defensive liability players just did not come clutch and hurt the Yankees big time.
Yeah. If the healthy Dodgers if the healthy Dodgers would have been, healthy, I think there's no question. There's no question that they probably would have swept, because there's no way that the Yankee team would have got through. Or maybe let's just go a little bit further. Then maybe with the Astros being healthy, would they get past the Astros this time? We don't know that. The American League was a little bit weaker this year in the playoffs than it was years in the past. So right. So I mean, I'll give them that. I'll leave it at that. But I don't think that team should have won. Maybe against other teams. I don't think against the Dodgers, if they were healthy, and even with them being not healthy, they were better, and they did win the World Series. So we'll leave it at that. We got a trivia question for you, though. I'll go ahead and post it because we're reaching trivia the last point. Trivia question, and I'll put it up here for everybody to see. What stadium is this? Can you name this stadium? And for those of you guys that can't see, try to come on to YouTube and see what we're talking about. Can you name that stadium?
And you're talking about and
I'll give you 20 seconds, and if you don't get it, I'll give you a hint. Or if you want to go for it right now, ask for a hint, I'll give you a hint.
Okay, I just find this interesting. Section 136 to 38, like what the heck is going on in that outfield right there? I just can't think of a stadium that has that, which is kind of strange. Man, it's crazy to me to know that there's 30 MLB ballparks and every stadium has a different shape and form. That always throws me off. Yeah. Oh man, I can't think of any thoughty. Oh shoot. I'm gonna say St. Louis Cardinals, my first guess.
No, not that one. Let's go. Let me give you a hint. They are in the NL, so you did pick on the right side. So now we eliminate one team, and we can go ahead after other 14 teams in the National League.
Dude, that's you only took 50% off. Damn. Okay. This is a tough choice. Doesn't look like NL West. No. NL East. How about the Phillies?
Not that one. All right, we'll go to the next one. It's not the NL East. We'll leave it at that. We have 2 other divisions in the National League.
Wait, you only took 4 teams off. That's only 10 left.
Well, the 10 left. That way, I'm trying to make it a little interesting.
I'll tell you, it's not the Dodgers. It's not the Dodgers. It's not the Giants. Wait, it could be the Giants. Hold up.
You're like, hold up. Let me see.
Oh, man. This is a tough one, Carlos. It's either Coors Field in Colorado.
All right. So that's not it, but you did guess the right division.
Shoot. This has to be the Petco Park.
So it's not Petco. You already eliminated Petco. You already eliminated Coors Field. You eliminated Dodger Stadium.
Oracle.
Ah, no.
Dude, I'm going. Is Chase Field?
There you go, Chase Field.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was tough. It's tough, dude. I don't think I would have got it because when I saw it, I'm like, wait, I don't think I'll get this one. But yeah, it is Chase Field. You got it right. And I think this is a good one. I think it's a good game to play because if we're trying to go to stadiums and visit all these stadiums, I think we need to go ahead and put these stadiums out there. Next week, I'll do it. Choose a stadium. Right. And then see, I'll show you how to upload it on here so I won't see it and I'll see it on the show. So Ernie didn't see this stadium at all. That's why it makes it hard. I'm putting them out there. I hope he doesn't feel like, oh, I'm picking on him. No, because it's my turn next week. So I'm going to have to guess and see what's going on. So I put the Real Talk Baseball logo on there because it does say, what is it? Diamondback Club seats. So, right. So that's why I had to put that there. So if you do see something like that, make sure you block it. Make sure you look through all the things there and block it. But you got it right, Chase Field.
We got Nestor saying Chase Field's been home of the D-backs since 1998. But he's saying Chase Field does have some weird dimensions plus a pool. You're totally right. Those dimensions threw me off, man. That corner outfield was like, what is going on? I've never seen that in any ballpark. Somebody help me. But You're totally right. This is fun. This is a fun trivia. I failed you guys this time, but I'll try to get it next time, and hopefully Carlos could get it right next week.
We'll see. We have what 29 stadiums to look at, so it makes it a little easier for me to find the right one and make it hard. I think if I'm not mistaken, I'll start studying to see which ones are which. Because what if you put one of the stadiums that I've been to and I get it wrong? It's gonna suck, man. It's gonna really suck.
Yeah, man. We definitely have to try out and see more stadiums, right? I know one of our guys, John Murrow, is on the path of hitting all 30 MLB stadiums, so that's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
and that's something that should be done for every baseball fan.
Definitely. Right? Bucket list at least. That should be a bucket list. All right, we reached that point in time that we reached that hour. I know we had a lot of fun talking baseball. There was a lot of messages. We really appreciate that. If you haven't hit that like on our video, please do so now. If you guys can do that, we're trying to reach 1,000 followers on here and on TikTok and on Instagram and on whatever we are on. It's all the social medias. If you guys want to reach us, you guys can go ahead and do that on every platform because we will get on and answer your questions. Ernie, last mentions.
Well, just want to thank everybody for chatting it up on the chat. Thank you guys. It was going crazy out there. It was hard to keep up, but we thank every one of you guys for tuning in. And we will be here every Sunday night going forward for all 2025 MLB season. If you guys are into fantasy baseball, make sure to hit that Thursday show with Will and John Murrow. They have incredible news out there for you guys for this fantasy baseball draft coming up soon for a lot of you guys. So make sure to tune in to see where you can find your best keepers, sleepers, and all the surprises in baseball. But hey, man, I just want to thank you, Carlos, for having the show today with us. And we had a great time, and we enjoy this every Sunday. We'll try to sneak in some weekly shows going forward this season if there's special news that drops, and we'll definitely be here to talk those big major baseball news for sure.
Definitely. All right, man. Well, from all of us here on Real Talk Baseball and CarloBaseball, this is Ernie Orange, Real Talk Baseball, signing out.